If we reach back to the beginnings of any culture, we find stories about how the world came to be and why things are the way they are. Why does rain fall from the sky? Where does fire come from? Why are the oceans filled with water? Hey, why does it get so dark at night? So, ancient societies came up with stories to explain these things. We call these stories etiological tales or origin stories. It's a story that explains why things are the way they are. Sometimes these stories are also called pourquoi tales. Pourquoi is the French word for why. Between 700 and 480 BCE, the ancient Greeks created a lot of etiological tales that we call myths. These myths had a cast of recurring characters. There were gods and goddesses, like Zeus, the god of sky and thunder, who overthrew his own father, Kronos, to become the most powerful god on Mount Olympus. There were also humans and demigods and all kinds of mythical creatures like a winged horse named Pegasus, a merman named Triton, and this half-man, half-bull creature called the Minotaur. And of course, someone somewhere had to have asked how this whole thing got started. Well, the Greek version of creation goes something like this. There was a bunch of darkness and confusion and disorder called chaos. Then, out of the formless void, 3 deities came to be. There was Gaia, earth deity and mother of life, Tartarus, the god of the underworld, and Eros, the god of love. So these gods started having children, and let me tell you, they created some pretty dysfunctional families. Their children were monsters, literally, like Cyclops. They also had some pretty powerful children, like Zeus. You remember him, he was the one who controlled the sky and the thunder and overthrew his dad, Kronos. So then Zeus ended up ruling from Greek god headquarters, also called Mount Olympus. Zeus had some pretty powerful siblings too, like Hades, god of the underworld. As you might imagine, he wasn't a very happy-go-lucky guy. Zeus also had a brother named Poseidon who ruled over the sea and earthquakes. You could always recognize him by the 3-pronged trident he carried around. Zeus had a wife named Hera, and they had a bunch of kids. His daughter Athena sprouted from his head. That had to hurt. Then Athena had an owl, and she also had a brother named Apollo, and Apollo had a twin named Artemis, and then there was Dionysus and Demeter, and the list goes on and on. Long story short, Zeus had a lot of kids. The stories about these ancient Greek gods and goddesses got pretty crazy, especially when they started interacting with humans. But the stories also served a purpose. They helped these ancient people make sense of their world. They helped bring an order to the chaos that people might have been feeling. And the stories and their characters were all very closely related. We call these stories myths. Myths are just stories that define a culture and the way the people of those cultures understand all the crazy things that happen in the natural world that they had no way to explain. Remember, science was still pretty new, and a sudden thunderstorm with bright bolts of lightning and thunder so loud it could really rattle your insides might shake a person up a bit. But maybe being able to say, "Oh, Zeus must be mad, better watch out," might take the edge off. Having an explanation helped put people at ease, and then the world didn't seem so scary. Greek mythology has survived for centuries and influenced all facets of our modern culture. The names of constellations like Pegasus, Orion, Hercules, these are all names that derived from Greek mythology. The Apollo space missions sent American astronauts to the moon on Saturn rockets. We have sports teams named Trojans and Titans that we love to root for, and a lot of people might not even know that these names are from Greek myths. Authors often refer to Greek myths as well. As we launch into a study of literature in our English 1 course, we are going to build knowledge about 5 Greek myths that show up a lot in literature. These Greek myths are so pervasive that they're referenced by different authors of many different cultures and time periods. First, we'll read about Prometheus, a Titan god who created a bunch of living things and had a soft spot for his favorite creation, humans. Against the will of Zeus, Prometheus steals fire and gives it to humans. Next, we'll read about Pandora's box, something that should never have been opened because it unleashed all kinds of misery. Then we'll read about Theseus, who sets out to destroy something that kept his generation pretty frightened. We'll read about Icarus, who learned to fly and got a little carried away. And then finally, we'll read about Medusa, who had a bad hair day every day because, well, her hair was made of snakes. These myths and their characters come up over and over again in literature, so learning about them will help you understand other things you read. They will also help you understand the culture and the worldview of the ancient Greeks. Along the way, you'll learn a lot of new vocabulary, do some crafty writing, review some things you already know about grammar, and add to your understanding of literature and literary terms. It's going to be an epic journey! So get ready, get set, and remember to always be clever.